Welcome back to the Metropolitan. Oh, did you guys see that? My hands disappear in this weird virtual background. That's so weird. Welcome back to the Metropolitan Culture Corner. While we often speak with people from the world of the arts, this month we will be exploring a different facet of what makes up our local culture, namely wellness and traditional medicine, with naturopath, acupuncturist, and nutritionist Laia Bramona. Naturopaths focus on a holistic approach to addressing mental and physical health issues. Instead of waiting till you get sick and then treating your symptoms, they aim to prevent illness and increase overall health through stress reduction and changes to diet and lifestyle, sometimes in combination with techniques from Western medicine. Laia Bramona has had 15 years of experience working on relieving physical pain, digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, as well as stress, depression, anxiety, and helping people recover from trauma, both mental and physical. In 2002, she began her training in traditional Chinese medicine and naturopathy at the Centro de Estudios de Naturopatia y Acupunctura de Catalunya, and she studied nutrition at the IFPS Roger de Llúria Institute. She later worked at the Hospital Vall here in Barcelona as a dietitian. Laia currently collaborates with the trauma unit of the Remei Clinic and with the Osteopathic Clinic of Dr. Ponce. She is a neuropathy teacher at the Higher Institute of Traditional Medicine. She also has her own private traditional medicine practice here in Barcelona. A decade or two ago, acupuncture, nutrition, and Laia's other professional specialties used to be generally perceived as outside of mainstream medicine, but today they are increasingly used as complements to help patients achieve a better quality of life, and often even recommended by Western doctors to complement certain kinds of treatments. That's why I thought it would be interesting to interview Laia, because these days, maybe I'm the only one who's been stressed out these past couple years, but I don't think so. Stress and other environmental factors can really impact our health. The world of art, the world of music, the world of culture in general, which is so near and dear to my heart, as you guys know, none of that exists if we're not physically healthy and able to produce art and music, right? All that said, please welcome Laia Bramona to the Metropolitan Culture Corner.
I love the transformation of people because you never know till what point they can develop. And it's very beautiful because you give the tools, but it's a dance between both. Many times you get surprised of the changes and the power of the people. Natural medicine has been always for us to use as our tool and to empower ourselves.
Well, hello, and thank you for being with us today on the Metropolitan Culture Corner.
Thank you very much.
I understand that you went to film school before following the career that you're on now. That's just two completely separate worlds. Entertainment is so different from the world of traditional medicine. So what made you decide to make this change?
It's interesting to start the interview with this issue. I actually see both quite similar, cinema and the work I do. I see actually art as a healing tool. Telling stories heals. And so when I was 19, 20 years old, I was studying cinema, but actually I couldn't handle all the pressure. I had been interested before in health all my life. And actually when I was studying cinema, I had a nervous system crisis and I had a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety and insomnia. I needed to start to do meditation and healing skills, learning about the video cameras and all the system, but I realized I have no idea about my own camera, that's myself. So I really realized I wanted to learn more about health and how to make art with health.
By learning techniques that helped you personally, you started to become interested in this.
Yeah, actually I started before when I was 10 years old that I had issues with health and I realized that I need to learn about health. I started going to the Acupuncturist when I was 14. That make a really good difference because when I was with the cinema and all the tension, I already knew that tools were useful for me. And that's why I decided to go to study them more intensively, that I can have more knowledge about myself. So I already knew they work, and I think that makes the difference because I was very young studying Chinese medicine and natural medicine. I was 19 years old and my colleagues were like 50 years old. Doctors, and so what was the difference?
So when you started looking into all of these things, I mean, was there a particular professor or certain people who really inspired you or really helped you find your way at the time?
No, I found on the schools, natural medicine, the ones that gave me more coherence. I found the best school and I had very good teachers I'm in contact with till now. Barcelona is a very open-minded city, so I had options to try and look, which make a difference. If I was living in another city, I could not have opportunities cultures, but here is like full of meditation places or Chinese medicine.
Is there a strong community of traditional medicine here in Barcelona?
Yeah, there's a strong community of new things, I guess. In natural medicine, 20 years ago, it was very little community, so now it's bigger, but it's not really structured as a community. I think it's more in the lifestyle we have here that we mix the traditional medicine and the broad medicine of ancestral cultures. So we are quite used to welcome different cultures because of the sea and many people coming and going. And yeah, I think it's an open place for that.
You know, maybe to you and to people who work in what you do, it seems like a really simple question. But if we're talking about these traditional medicine techniques, such as acupuncture, it's something people have seen in the movies. It doesn't look like it would help make you feel better if someone's sticking needles into you, right? So how does acupuncture work, and why does applying pressure or inserting needles into specific points on your body, why does that help something like inflammation or stress?
Yeah, that's a good question because we are used to think in medicine in one system, that's the medical system we know. I remember when I was studying Chinese medicine, the first year was only to give space to that ideas that sound really crazy. It took 1 year to start opening the mind because at the beginning is like very different. So the thing is we have an energetic body and channels that interconnect different organs from the body. So we have some channels that now we can measure them. There's a tool you can test how much voltage we have.
A scientific tool that you can use to
where the channels begin, you can test how much energy you have. So yeah, actually what acupuncture does is to liberate the obstacles in these channels, mainly caused by the environment or outside things that affect us, relations, food, temperature, cold, hot. Our system gets stuck in some point and this causes the symptom and the illness. And with the acupuncture, we help make this energy go fluid, but also in a scientific way, where you put the needle, there's a local effect. The brain understands we need to send painkillers there, we need to send blood and oxygen. It helps to balance the limbic system, the emotions, and also to relax the body. So this is more the scientific things that are proof. Yeah, the limbic system, the nervous system, and how it helps the body restore itself. It's like activate the self-healing mechanism. So I just help to unstack energy so the energy can recover.
I've seen the kind of machines you're talking about where they can measure how a nerve channel is functioning, sticking needles in you and making a chart of how your body is working. And that, for someone who's used to Western medicine, would show you, well, that's why it works. But some of these techniques were developed 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. These days, our understanding of the functions of the human body have changed a lot. So how did people develop these techniques without knowledge of modern science? And then how have modern developments in terms of anatomy, neuroscience, how have that changed how traditional medicine works?
I don't understand how they developed this intelligence 3,000 years ago. And also the new discoveries and new approach of medicine gives different techniques. Actually, the way you can understand how it works is by trying it, because there's like no argument that can make you trust or not. You try and you see the difference. But also with the scientific medicine, we can understand things that were discovered before. You know, we have a very little part of the science that is discovered till now, so information is power. So I don't think recovering health has any interest on any industry.
You worked at Vall d'Hebron, for example.
Yeah.
Have you found that people in the world of Western medicine are excited about the ways that traditional medicine can complement Western medicine, or do they see it as hippie stuff?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fear of using ancestral techniques that are being used for 3,000 years, and that's it's very difficult for me to understand, use everything. But many of my clients are doctors and nurses. I think they are the ones that know more health. Western medicine is more focused on avoiding the pain when it's already caused in very late states. But all the natural medicine and traditional medicine is to focus on health and on the resources we have to increase health. So actually it's like opposite businesses, I would say. Then we can use both and have no contrast actually. There's no opposition in the practical.
If someone is having some kind of health problems, they wouldn't have to choose between the methods you practice and Western medicine.
In China, they use both, and here more and more people is looking for both. even more after COVID, people is wanting results and solutions. So I think people is opening more to knowledge.
Acupuncture is probably the most commonly known form of traditional Chinese medicine, the one that most Westerners are familiar with at least, but the techniques that you do go beyond that, right? So what other kinds of practices do you combine with acupuncture?
Yeah, I do acupuncture. That's been used for lots of years. I also do natural medicine, naturopathy, how to help the body to be cleaner and to use its own resources to be okay. So how to nourish the body, give vitamins and plants, and also nutrition and biodynamic craniosacral, which is a technique comes from osteopaths from United States. There's an osteopath that was observing the cranial bones. So it was seeing that the joints between bones were not fixed. In the body, everything is made with a reason. So he discovered that the joints have a way where they are very similar to the scales of a fish. They breathe. There is a primary respiration before we breathe as human beings and we are born. When we are in our mama's belly, it's inside the bones, the cranium, the sacrum. So actually the bones are not fixed without movement. Mm-hmm. They are mobile and they breathe. There are rhythmic movements that come from the inside, like when someone dies, for example, it takes out the breath first, but there's some minutes that still kind of energy going in the body. The primal respiration. So that's what we work with in this technique. That's very useful for nervous system traumas and how to breathe again as I was supposed to breathe, like the babies. They breathe freely and they move freely. So we have this capacity, and this tool is very good to help listen the original intelligence we have and see what's the next step to be done. Because also with medicine, we have fallen in this patriarchy system that we like ask to the other what we have to do. We don't have any power as users of medicine, and that's a very dangerous idea, because if I have no power on my health, it depends on others. So with this technique to re-equilibrate the nervous system, it takes off the tensions that make myself struggle and have more energy, more vitality, and more health at the end, more pulse.
So it helps the body's instinctive inner mechanisms heal itself.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because when I was working with acupuncture, I see we can lead the energy and unblock things, but some things were blocked when we were a child. And mainly of our health issues come from 0 to 10 years old. What's happened there is repeating. I think we will see more and more techniques focused on how to liberate the trauma.
So you don't just mean physical habits, you also mean like emotional and psychological ways of behaving.
Yeah, I focused at the beginning of my journey more on the physical and energetic body, but I saw there was something lacking connect with the attachment style that we have as mammals. We don't survive unless we have someone that takes care of us. So movement, rhythm, and contact is health. And during these tender times, sometimes the contact or the rhythm or the movement was not healthy for us, and we create traumas and lack of health.
Did you study psychology too in your health studies?
No, in my journey as myself, I did a lot of psychological work and energetic work, and also lots of ancestral medicine, like from India and ancient wisdom. And I realized from the mind, there's a point where you cannot evolve more. So I was seeing the body not having felt security creates illnesses. So I saw it very practical that working with the body, not with the mind, and helping the body restore the security, for me it was more practical than learning things, because I have a mechanism to go to the trauma we all have. It's a way to handle and not fight against the tendencies we have, but can feel more grounded, with more space, with more calm. The things that you are afraid of decreasing. So we have more movement, more capacity, and more health at the end.
When someone comes to you with a problem that seems physical, like if I say I'm having headaches, I think it's because I have stiff neck from working on the computer or whatever. No, if someone comes in with a physical problem, how do you know how to treat them? And how do you know if it's a psychological thing or it's more physical?
It has never been separated, the physical and the psychological. Mm-hmm. So when something starts to get illness in the vibration, it's shown in the material world. So I use Chinese medicine tool to understand the organs and the energy and to move the energy. But I always see there's a bigger problem, that's the issues. What I do, we cannot work the attachment thing at the beginning, but we can start helping the body to feel safer. So I always start with the body as a way to go to the soul, because feeling no pain and feeling better is a way to access to the things we don't like emotionally. So it's always both.
Within the scope of everything you do, nutrition is really important. And a lot of people seek out help from a nutritionist because they're trying to lose weight or look differently, but your approach is different, right? It's not about being skinny.
Yeah, actually, at the beginning, in my case, it was for being skinny because it's something women have in our adolescence. So yeah, when I was 14, 15, I did all the diets and all the things and ups and downs of the weight, and it made like no sense. So I think beauty is a nice door to start interest on the food, but I think the food is actually the medicine we all have to treat us better. It's a way we can, I miss the pharmacy, what I am what I eat, so kitchen is my medicine place. I don't like to eat a lot, but I need to be nourished. We want to be skinny, but we are hungry. So if we give ourselves nutrients as minerals, proteins and everything, useful calories. There are useful calories and not useful calories. So I move my nutrition to things that has work and practical to myself, because after I see a lot of difference
In your health.
Yeah, you can see it on the experience. When you have a very healthy moment and you see all the energy you have, the clarity you have, then it's very difficult to go back. So it's like going little by little. But for me, the experience is the only thing that can really convince you that it's really worth it to choose there.
It all sounds pretty logical. But one thing that I wanted to ask you is taking the patient's pulse and looking at their tongue is part of your way of evaluating someone's state at the time when they come to see you. Why do you do that? What is that?
Chinese medicine, I love it because it's very practical and very empiric. Part of the diagnosis is based on how you see the person, if there's energy. We use the pulse and the tongue for diagnosis. It's a part of diagnostic, not only the tongue. We have the different areas of the organs, and also we can see if there's a lot of energy or not energy, if there is cold, there is hot. And in the pulse, we can see if there is a lot of energy, if there is weak energy, because sometimes it seems there's a lot of energy, but in the reality it's low energy. Like for example in menopause, that it seems the hot and the energy, but actually the pulse and the moment is low energy. So it's very practical because without knowing we lie a lot on our health issues. So the body never lies. Just by listening the person, you don't really get how she is till you get the pulse and the tongue, and then you see the reality in her body. And also the faces, each area belongs to an organ. So just by seeing the face, you can know if the lungs are okay or the liver is fine or it has to do more effort. So we are a book.
So when you see people on the metro or on the street, can you look at them and think, that guy's liver's messed up, that lady's stressed out? You can see all that on people's faces.
I love it. And yeah, information.
Is there anything that you wish people understood better about your job?
One, that it's quite fast. In 2-3 sessions, you have a result. And for me, it's good that the people understand that there are tools that can help in a practical way and not damage you, which is very, very important. And I think the idea we have till the reality is very different. So till you try, you don't see. And the other thing very important is that the symptom, many times we fighting against a virus or whatever, but the symptom, you can take it as the door to dig into yourself and heal something in a different way. So for me and many other people, the bad things, pain, the obsession, the depression, wherever it is, if you really take it, is the tool to your brightest part. So I would say people not to be afraid on the bad symptoms, because if you have someone that's competent and can help you to take care or understand or heal, it's brilliant, because the body is truth. And if it's not that symptom, it will be another symptom or another. So instead of judging it, just take it and find a solution. Because I see many people that leave the health stuff. We all do it, no? To go to the dentist, and it's like we leave ourselves for the last. But as we are in our health, we live our life, we work, we love. So to be more egoistic maybe on our health, I would say. I think we are like the first generation we can do this.
Why?
Because the others' reality was more tough.
Meaning that other people had to actually take care of themselves to survive, and now we can save ourselves with medicine. Huh.
Yeah.
If somebody says, I'm interested in this stuff, of course they could call you, but if they just wanted to research on their own, how would someone educate themselves about the stuff you're talking about? Just researching on the internet or what?
No, for me it's very good if it's someone that I know or someone has known.
Word of mouth, right?
Also very important to listen to your gut if you feel okay or not. It's true there is not much certificates to demonstrate we have the necessary information for this. That's something that here in Spain we've been like fighting for, to demonstrate who are the people that has a minimum education to do that. So for me it would be to ask. Also the reviews, I know it's very weak, but the reviews on the internet for me would say to see the face and see if that people give me trust or not. It's not easy to find a good therapist, I would say. And actually you will have different people that can help you during your lives. Therapeutical experience can bring you some tools and you will find other tools.
Thank you very much for explaining your work, Laia. It was a pleasure. I really like these interviews because it's like opening the door on a world that sometimes I didn't even realize existed, It's awesome. On the Metropolitan Culture Corner, you can learn about fascinating people who dedicate their lives to everything from visual art to journalism and from Chinese medicine to sound design. Thank you for tuning in once a month and diving into the local arts and culture scene with me, Tori Sparks, creator of the Barcelona Metropolitan Culture Corner, in collaboration with the wonderful people at Barcelona Metropolitan magazine. I'm also a proud resident of this crazy, lovely city that we call Barcelona. See you next month on the Metropolitan Culture Corner. And don't forget that you can watch our interviews dating back to March 2020 on Metropolitan's official YouTube channel, or you can listen to all of them as convenient podcasts on SoundCloud.